Once, I believed love could warm everything. For 8 years, I poured out everything, but only received Scarlett's neglect and favoritism towards others in return, her indifference when Luna had a high fever, her protection of Julian and Leo when they caused trouble. It was like ice picks repeatedly piercing my heart, until that day, when she saw me with Luna, holding another woman's hand. She completely panicked. Luna lifted her flushed face, red from the high fever, and softly said, "Okay, good girl." I kissed Luna's cheek, then I called Ms. Davison to discuss Luna's transfer. Ms. Davison said the fastest transfer would still take a month. It's okay, ID endured 8 years of a life as good as being widowed. A month. I could wait that long. Luna kept her round eyes open, glancing towards the hospital room door from time to time. Although she didn't say it, I knew she was waiting for Scarlett. I called Scarlett again, just hoping she'd say goodnight to Luna. The phone rang for a long time, before Scarlett finally answered, her cold, angry voice immediately taking the offensive. "Ethan, I was just at a parent-teacher conference with Leo. Do you really need to check up on me all the time? And you lead, telling me Luna was sick, cursing your own daughter like that. How cruel can you be?" Her end was very lively. From the background noise, I knew it was the family-friendly restaurant Luna had always wanted to go to. Scarlett said she was busy with work and had no time, but now she not only had time for a parent-teacher conference, but also time to take Julian and them out to eat. Suddenly, a clear voice came from her end. "Mom, why aren't you eating?" My hand trembled, and my phone almost slipped. Almost at the same moment, Scarlett hung up the phone. She was away from home for another week. If it were before, I would have definitely cried and looked for her, demanding to know if she was staying at Julian's house again. But now, I didn't even have the desire to call her. Yet, at that moment, Scarlett came home. As soon as she walked in, she started berating me. "Have you not been making Leo's packed lunch for a week? Even if he's angry, you shouldn't take it out on the child. Julian doesn't know how to cook, so you're the only one who can do it." Seeing me lower my gaze and remain silent, Scarlett's expression softened. She gently squeezed my hand a few times. "Haven't you always wanted to take wedding photos? Just be a little more compliant." It was laughable, really. Scarlett and I had been together for 8 years, but we had no wedding photos, let alone a marriage license. On the eve of us getting our marriage license, Julian's wife died, leaving behind only their 1-year-old son. He couldn't handle the shock and was hospitalized. Scarlett was busy, taking care of him, with no time for anything else besides Julian. Our marriage license ended up being forgotten. She tried to tempt me with wedding photos, thinking I would give in, but my expression remained calm. As the atmosphere grew tense, Luna's Ms. Davison suddenly called me. Luna got into a fight at school. I immediately grabbed my bag and rushed to school. Scarlett anxiously came with me. She parked her pink BMW in front of me, and I got into the passenger seat without hesitation. But when I saw the words on the passenger seat, I paused. Pinned to the passenger seat was a photo of Julian, with the caption, "Big's exclusive." As buckled her seatbelt, she noticed me looking at the sticker, and her heart skipped a beat. She quickly peeled it off, fearing I would throw a fit like before, and explained, "Julian just put it there as a joke." "Don't." I cut her off, my face calm. "Let's go. Luna is waiting for us at school." Scarlett stared at my face for a long time, then tightened her lips without a word. I silently recalled how Scarlett had carefully put the sticker into her pocket after tearing it off. I felt increasingly that my 8 years had been worthless. When we arrived at Ms. Davison's office, a pretty little boy was crying loudly, shrieking. Luna's hair was disheveled, and her small shoulders were heaving as she silently cried. If I remembered correctly, that boy was Julian's son, Leo. Scarlett, being tall and long-legged, stepped into the office ahead of me, completely blocking my way. Luna recognized Scarlett, her eyes lit up, and she was about to run to embrace her, but got there first, throwing himself into Scarlett's arms. Scarlett paused for a moment, then skillfully picked up Leo and began to comfort him. Furious, I clenched my fists, and quickly hugged my precious Luna tightly. Leo wrapped his arms around Scarlett's neck and complained, "Luna tried to take my cookie, that's why I hit her." "You're lying. You were trying to take mine." The two were about to start arguing again. Scarlett pressed her temples and asked Ms. Davison, "Are there any cameras?" Yes, they were just fixed 2 days ago." As Davison searched the records, Leo looked around nervously. Julian quickly walked in and, without a word, started hitting Leo, saying as he did, "That's what you get for bullying girls. Mom is also a girl, and she can be bullied too. Why can't you learn to put yourself in someone else's shoes?" Julian's tears trembled on his cheeks, crying beautifully. Scarlett, looking like she felt terrible for them, pulled them into her embrace. "I said I'd always protect you. No one can bully you." I apologized to Ms. Davison, then covered Luna's eyes and carried her out. A warm, damp sensation wet my palm. Luna was crying so hard she was hiccuping. "Daddy, I hate Mom." "Yeah, me too." For once, Scarlett came home right after work, carrying a bowl of seafood bisque. "I bought it specially for you too. Eat up." After saying that, she went to take a shower. Luna was drawn in by the aroma. Just as I opened the plastic lid for her, I heard a ding sound from Scarlett's phone on the table. It was a message from Julian. "Scarlett, thank you for treating us to a seafood feast today. Oh, and did you take the leftover seafood bisque?" Julian and his family had a seafood feast, while Luna and I were only good enough for their leftovers. A surge of humiliation welled up inside me. I poured all the bisque into the trash can. Scarlett, just finishing her shower, saw this scene. "What upset you this time?" I showed her the message. She sighed, rubbing her forehead. "Luna hit Leo. I was just treating them to a meal as compensation. So you also think it was Luna's fault?" She fell silent. I pointed to the door. "Get out, unreasonable." Scarlett left with a cold expression. Luna's transfer papers were almost ready. I didn't send her back to school. Instead, Luna and I chose a city we liked together. "Dad, I like Sunnyside. It's not cold." "Sunnyside? Are you going to Sunnyside for a trip?" Scarlett appeared behind us without me realizing it. I quickly put my phone away. She was about to reach for it, but the next second, her phone suddenly rang. From the other end came Julian's panicked voice. "Scarlett, Leo's been complaining of a stomachache after dinner. What should I do?" Scarlett's face changed drastically. She grabbed her coat and rushed out. "Don't panic. I am on my way." She was so flustered and anxious that her leg hit the table corner as she rushed out. Leo was sick, and Scarlett was frantic with worry. Luna had a fever, and she just thought Luna was faking it. Scarlett, truly biased. Luna realized it too, and went to bed dejectedly. After I tucked Luna into bed that night, I scrolled through Julian's Facebook post. "Having these two in life is enough." In the photo, Scarlett was carefully adjusting the dropper speed for Leo, afraid he might be uncomfortable, and wrapped in Scarlett's coat, smiled sweetly. I silently liked it. The next second, the post disappeared. Scarlett's call came through immediately. "Ethan, Julian was just sharing a personal thought and made a post. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" I was puzzled. I just liked it. I didn't do anything unforgivable. I am really too lazy to argue with you. By the way, Julian's house has a leak, so they are staying with us for half a month. Clear out the master bedroom for them to move in. Before I could say anything, Scarlett hung up the phone. I scoffed. In the past, I would have definitely stayed up all night to get the room ready, but I'd had enough of being a free nanny. Whoever wants to serve them can go ahead. I held Luna close and slept soundly through the night. In the morning, I vaguely heard a gentle voice from outside the door. "Scarlett, will Leo and I be too much trouble for Ethan and them if we move in?" "It's fine. Ethan just idles around at home all day, so he can take care of you." I opened the door. Leo was running wildly through the room with marbles in his hand. Scarlett saw me and said condescendingly, "Help with their luggage. He has too much to handle alone." I sneered. "That's his problem, not mine." It was the first time I had been so harsh with her. Scarlett froze. Her eyebrows furrowed so tightly they could hold a mosquito. "Scarlett, it seems Ethan doesn't welcome me. I should just take Leo and leave." Julian's tears were like a faucet, turning on instantly. If I recall correctly, I think I am even a year younger than Julian. Scarlett's face was as cold as frost. "Ethan, I told you there's absolutely nothing going on between Julian and me. Can't you be a little more big-hearted?" I didn't know how many times I had heard that phrase. Be more big-hearted. Ever since Scarlett went to the hospital to care for Julian and postponed our wedding, she had constantly told me to be big-hearted. I gave in at every turn. When I had a fever of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, I went to the hospital alone. Scarlett couldn't get away because it was Leo's birthday that day, and she had to be there in person for such an important moment. An hour after she left, Luna got a fever. She didn't answer calls or reply to messages. Enduring sharp pain, I got out of bed to call an ambulance. It took an entire night for Luna's fever to finally break. Scarlett had also never celebrated the holidays with us once, because she said, during big family gatherings, Julian and his family are so lonely, it's truly pitiable. But did she ever consider that, when countless other families were celebrating warmly, Luna and I only had each other to rely on? Perhaps my expression, immersed in sorrow, was too painful. Scarlett seemed helpless as she tried to wipe away the tears on my face. I instinctively took a step back. She froze in place. It was the first time I had pulled away from her touch. Leo, tired from playing, hugged Scarlett's leg and asked, "Mom, when are we eating? I am so hungry." Scarlett didn't answer, but instinctively looked at me. I pretended I hadn't heard anything, focusing on dressing Luna. Winter arrived early in the making people's teeth chatter with cold. Scarlett used to be my sage. To pursue her, I followed her to the without hesitation. Mom said I'd regret it, but back then, I was soaring with ambition. Now, I truly regretted it. All my love couldn't warm that cold heart, just as I could never get used to this weather. Julian pulled Leo off Scarlett's lap, his tone stern. "How many times have I told you not to call Aunt Mom? Uncle will get angry if he hears that." Leo thrashed around on the ground, crying loudly, and accidentally hit Luna in the eye with a marble. My heart pounded, and I quickly checked. Julian stood by and made a sarcastic remark. "Kids will be kids, it's nothing." "Oh, Leo's so small, he doesn't have much strength." "No need to be so tense." Julian kept rambling, so I roared, "Say another word and I'll rip your mouth off." Scarlett didn't see Luna's injury. She only saw her cherished Julian shedding wrong tears. She grabbed my wrist, her voice icy, "Apologize to Julian, otherwise, I'll kick you out." I had no relatives in this city. I couldn't survive if I left this house. She thought I'd be scared and compromise, but I let out a light laugh. "Fine, Luna and I will leave together. That way, we won't get in the way of your happy family of 3. Scarlett was stunned, not expecting me to be so decisive. "Ethan, once words are spoken, they can't be taken back." Her eyes were fixed on me, but her hand was trembling slightly. I shook her off, picked up Luna, and left without hesitation. That was my answer. I didn't care anymore. I didn't want it. I took Luna to the hospital, and unexpectedly ran into my college sage. Sage, in her lab coat, bent down to examine Luna's eye, her tone calm. "It's a bit red and swollen. A few drops of eye drops will do." I nodded, intending to take Luna and leave. Sage called out to me. Her thin glasses made it hard for me to discern her expression. "Running into an old classmate. Won't you catch up for a bit?" It wasn't until I was sitting with her in the family-friendly restaurant that I truly came to my senses. Sage and I were from the same academic discipline, but she was a reserved academic prodigy, spending 24 hours a day immersed in the library. During college, I was too busy chasing after Scarlett, so I didn't have much interaction with her. I only heard that after graduating college, she stayed in the South at St. Jude Center and was promoted very quickly. But how did I end up seeing her here? I looked at Sage curiously. She gently wiped a cake crumb from Luna's mouth with a tissue, her expression tender. Luna was usually very shy around strangers, yet now she was very dependent on her. Just then, Scarlett's phone call came through, and I hung up. She sent another message. "Ms. Davison called and said, transferring Luna." "What are you doing?" "I've already found Julian and his family. A new place to stay. Are you satisfied now?" I disgustedly turned off my phone. Sage sensitively sensed my mood. "What's wrong? Did you argue with Scarlett?" I looked up in surprise, not expecting her, who usually paid no attention to outside matters, to even know Scarlett. I don't know why, but I told her everything about my situation. Finally, I said, "I want to go home." Sage nodded, pulled out her phone, and found the ticket booking page. "The last flight today is in 2 hours. Do you want to go?" Her expression was sincere. "Drive. Evans has always talked about you, and there's still a position for you at the hospital." That's right. Luna's transfer papers had already been approved. There was nothing left in this city for me to cling to. At that moment, Scarlett sent a message. "I am going on a business trip for a month. When I get back, well, take wedding photos. I've already compromised, so don't be unreasonable." I blocked her number and messages with a single, fluid motion. "I didn't want the wedding photos, and I didn't want you anymore, Scarlett. After an overnight flight, we returned to our hometown. At the front door, I hesitated. Back then, for Scarlett, I had a huge falling out with my family, and we hadn't been in touch for 8 years. As I hesitated, the door suddenly opened. Mom was holding the trash, her eyes wide, staring at Luna and me. 8 years had passed, and Mom had aged considerably, making my eyes sting. In the living room, I gathered my courage and spoke. Scarlett and I have separated. I am not leaving again. Dad didn't speak, just grunted. The atmosphere instantly plunged to rock bottom. It seemed I had broken their hearts. Feeling a little sad, I prepared to leave. Luna jumped off the sofa, trotted to Dad, and softly called out, "Grandpa, Grandma, Luna missed you so much." Dad, without much expression, held Luna in his arms and wouldn't let go. Mom, meanwhile, happily peeled an orange for her. Dad glanced at me. "What are you staring at? Put your luggage down and come eat." "Okay." A month passed quickly. Luna had already adjusted to her new school. With Evan's arrangement, I also joined the hospital. Drive. Evan said Sage had applied to transfer back. "You were so determined to go to the back then, only to want to come back so soon. It's truly my good fortune to be your teacher." Mom and Dad learned that Scarlett and I hadn't gotten our marriage license. While angry, they were also somewhat relieved. They arranged a blind date for me. This time, after their careful screening, there certainly wouldn't be any mistakes. But to my complete surprise, the blind date was Sage. She was wearing a trench coat, holding a bouquet of Lisianthus, my favorite flower. What surprised me most was when Sage said, "Ethan, do you know I've liked you for 10 years? A gentle breeze blew, stirring ripples in my heart. I didn't know. Sage was as tall as Scarlett, but only she would slightly lower her head when listening to me speak. "Don't feel pressured. I just wanted to tell you how I feel, but the choice is yours." Just as I was about to answer, my phone suddenly rang. After I answered, Scarlett's voice, full of anger and a hint of panic, came through. "Ethan, nothing in the house has been touched. Where have you and Luna been for the past month?" My tone was calm. "Scarlett, I've come to terms with it. I won't bother you anymore. Let's part ways amicably." Scarlett paused for a moment, then scoffed, playing hard to get again. "My patience is limited." She was about to continue speaking when Sage, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke. "Ethan, where do you want to go for dinner later?" "Ethan, there's a woman with you." Scarlett's voice suddenly rose. "What are you doing? It's none of your business. We've broken up." With that, I hung up. "I am sorry. Should I not have said anything just now?" Ailtha's tone was apologetic. The corners of her lips were curved upwards. Why had I never noticed before that she was seemingly innocent, but cunning? Who said Sage was aloof? This was truly adorable. I thought Scarlett would be happy after getting rid of me, her burden, but I was shocked when I saw a dust-covered Scarlett at the hospital entrance. No matter when, Scarlett had always been impeccably dressed, but now, her hair was disheveled, her eyes bloodshot, and her refined face showed hints of exhaustion. "Ethan, I don't agree to break up." She flew all this way just to say that. She pulled my hand. "Don't you want to get married? Let's get married as soon as we get back, okay?" She spoke with certainty, sure that I would gladly agree, but my expression remained calm and still. Instead, I asked, "So, how do you plan to handle Julian? Why do you keep holding on to Julian?" Her eyebrows furrowed. "I only see Julian as a younger brother. Why won't you believe me?" Mom. Luna, with her small backpack, was being led by Sage. Scarlett saw her sweet, gentle Luna. Her expression softened, and she opened her arms to hug her. Luna immediately hid behind Sage. Sage naturally picked her up and walked over to my side. Scarlett's expression stiffened. Seeing her husband and Luna being intimate with another woman, she felt terrible. "Who is she?" "Is that the woman from last time?" I said without changing my expression. "This is my newly acknowledged younger sister." "Liar. If she's just your sister, why is she so close to you? Why are you allowed to have a brother, but I am not allowed to have a sister?" Scarlett was speechless. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her, so I took Sage home for dinner. Mom and Dad liked her for some reason. Scarlett drove behind us the entire way. When we reached the front door, Dad saw Scarlett, whose face was frozen with anger, and asked confusedly, "Young lady, who are you looking for?" "Sir, I am Ethan's wife." The cheerful old man's face immediately fell. He went inside and came back out with several brooms in his hand. Jerk, you dare show your face at my house. You used to bully our Ethan, and back then, you were beyond our reach, so we couldn't do anything. But now you dare come to our door. He'll beat you to death. Scarlett was beaten so badly she couldn't fight back, and had to leave crestfallen. She refused to give up and sent me a message. I will fight for Luna's custody, at all costs. Sage comforted me, telling me not to panic and that she'd figure something out. Chern said, although as the child's mom, she neglected her family and doesn't have much chance of winning. If we can get evidence of her infidelity, the case will be even easier to win. Just when I needed it most, Julian was diagnosed with uterine fibroids and transferred to our hospital. Julian was coincidentally assigned to drive Evans. As I entered the ward, I heard Julian's pitiable voice. Scarlett, I am so scared I am going to die like this. Leo is still so young. Scarlett, feeling terrible for him, hugged him close and comforted him softly. I seized the opportunity to take a photo before going inside. Scarlett saw me and abruptly pushed Julian away. Ethan, I was just checking on Julian. I cut her off. No need to explain. I am just here to do rounds. Scarlett followed behind me, her tone sincere. Luna's birthday is in a few days. Can I celebrate with you too? Julian's expression changed when he heard that. He grabbed Scarlett's hand and said, the day is also Leo's birthday. You said you'd spend all future birthdays with him. Scarlett's face showed her conflict. I finished my checkup and walked away without looking back. Which party she went to was entirely up to her. Luna and I no longer cared, because it was Luna's first birthday at her grandparents' house. We specially organized a birthday party. Luna played wildly for a while, then hugged my neck and said, Mom, Luna loves it here. I smiled and stroked her head, noticing that Luna kept looking towards the door. Her expectant expression was exactly the same as when she had a fever, and hoped Scarlett would come to see her. Are you waiting for Mom? Luna immediately shook her head like a rattle drum. Waiting for Mom. She said she'd celebrate my birthday with me. Mom. What are you talking about? An incredulous voice came from behind. Scarlett stood there, holding a stuffed animal, her eyes bloodshot. She grabbed Luna's small arm. Her voice sinister. You can only have one mom, and that's me. Luna was scared and cried, struggling frantically. My strength was small, and I couldn't move Scarlett an inch. Suddenly, a slap landed on Scarlett's face. She grunted and fell to the ground. Sage handed Luna back to me, shielding me behind her. This protective stance stuck Scarlett's eyes. She roared angrily, Luna is my daughter. What right do you have to meddle in my family affairs? You still remember Luna is your daughter. My eyes filled with pain. When was sick? Where were you? When was bullied by other kids? What did you do? You don't deserve to be her mom. Scarlett tried to explain, but found she couldn't. When needed her most, she wasn't by her side at all. I was wrong before, but it'll change. Ethan, please give me another chance, okay? Scarlett shed tears, crying incoherently. You liked me so much before. How could you just stop wanting me? Scarlett couldn't accept the disparity. Only after losing it did she realize how precious what she once had was. My expression was a bit dazed. Sage's tone was anxious. Don't believe her. What women say when they cry isn't reliable. In a ring's attempts to stop me, I slowly walked up to Scarlett. Scarlett's long eyelashes were wet with tears. She was overjoyed that I had truly turned back, and wanted to hug me, but what greeted her was my resounding slap. I was head over heels in love before, but 8 years of a life as good as being widowed was enough to wear away all that love. Just because someone apologizes doesn't mean they have to be forgiven. Scarlett fled in despair, her expression dejected, unable and unwilling to believe that the man who loved her to his very core would abandon her so mercilessly. She now desperately needed comfort from another man. Mr. Davis, the private investigator, sent me a set of photos, evidence of Scarlett and Julian's secret meetings. With this ace up my sleeve, Scarlett could forget about getting Luna's custody. A promiscuous mother is not qualified to raise a child. At the court hearing, I achieved a complete victory. Scarlett, however, wasn't angry. She told me confidently, Ethan, this time, I'll be the one to pursue you. I'll definitely make you fall in love with me again. She was very persistent, sending me different flowers and surprises every day, but without exception, their destination was always the trash can. The hospital was abuzz with rumors that a goddess was fiercely pursuing me, and I was about to embark on a new romance. I thought no one would believe the joke, but Sage had been avoiding me lately. I cornered her in the empty locker room to ask why. We were too close, and she uncomfortably turned her head away. You're going to be with someone else? I should probably just. Before she could finish, I pulled her collar and kissed her. Sage's body went limp. I said, "Are you still keeping your distance from me now?" "No. No. No." Sage licked her lips, her eyes shining, again, millimeters. After getting together with Sage, I practically became her human pillow. I asked a question that had been buried in my heart for a long time. We didn't have any interaction in college, so how did you come to like me? Despite her ears turning bright red with embarrassment, Sage stared straight into my eyes. I can't really say. I liked you the moment I first saw you, like it was a physiological attraction. Her breath was hot, fanning against my ear. In the quiet of the night, I always regretted not having snatched you away from Scarlett. It's a good thing she didn't know how to cherish you, allowing me to stumble upon an incredible opportunity. When a person truly likes someone from the bottom of their heart, they'll always want to stick by their side. I suddenly realized that Sage was completely head over heels for me. It turned out that healthy love meant both parties caring, not just one struggling to hold on. What a miserable life I had before. During my next examination of Julian, his face was twisted. "You must be very proud now." I kept my head down, focusing on the data, and offered a word of caution. "You'd best not let your emotions fluctuate too much, or a benign tumor could eventually turn malignant." He made to slap me, but after seeing the figure at the door, he slapped himself hard instead. "Julian." Scarlett rushed in, bumping me aside, and anxiously checked Julian's face. "Ethan, Julian is a patient right now. Aren't you going too far?" Scarlett angrily accused me. "If you have any anger, direct it at me." Julian threw himself into her arms, crying as he spoke. "I was just telling Ethan that since he has a girlfriend now, he shouldn't keep stringing you along." And then Ethan got upset, and he said this wanting to completely clear his name, and maintain his innocent persona, but only heard the words girlfriend, and she couldn't believe it with someone else. Julian saw the focus shift, and tried hard to bring the topic back. "Scarlett, don't blame Ethan for hitting me. It doesn't hurt, not at all." Scarlett couldn't hear anything else. She only knew I had been stolen from her. She squeezed my arm with such force, it felt like she would crush me. "Ethan, how can you fall in love with someone else so easily?" I cried out in pain and struggled, and the next second, I fell into a warm embrace. "Security, this person is too agitated. Please remove her." Sage held me tightly, encircling me into her territory like a wolf. Scarlett was held down firmly, unable to resist. Given's proud and arrogant nature, she shouldn't bother me anymore, but I truly underestimated her obsession. Scarlett gave up her original senior physician title, and joined my hospital. She had been a prominent figure in college, and she quickly gained a group of admirers at the hospital too, but she was especially attentive to me. I didn't feel happy. Instead, I was troubled. Sage was insecure, afraid I'd be taken away, so she made me tell her I loved her repeatedly in bed. Insecurity is a woman's best dowry. After our intimacy, I cupped her face and said, "Sage, I want to marry you." Sage's eyes widened blankly, looking bewildered. After about 10 seconds, she started getting dressed. I thought I had scared her, so I began to speak dejectedly. "If you don't want to, then forget it." She finished dressing herself, then started dressing me, speaking incredibly fast. "The clerk's office opens at 9. Let's go to your mom and dad's house first to get the ID documents for the marriage license. Later." I asked her why she was in such a hurry. She gave a sly smile. "I thought you were just acting on impulse, and I wanted to seize this chance to tie you firmly to my side." After getting their marriage license, she specially bought several large bags of wedding favors. In front of everyone, she gave Scarlett a large handful, smiling as she said, "Ethan and I got married. Please take some wedding favors." Scarlett seemed like a rusty machine, stammering as she asked, "Ethan, married?" She had always thought she still had a chance, so she hadn't been very serious about pursuing me, sending flowers and gifts. She figured that would be enough, but she forgot that besides her, someone else had always been thinking of me. At that moment, she seemed to lose all her strength and cunning, wanting only to find a private place to compose herself, but came up to Scarlett, with Leo crying uncontrollably. Leo was hit by a classmate. I couldn't stand up for him. "Scarlett, you can't just abandon us." Before, whenever Julian and Leo were even slightly bullied, she would be the first to defend them, but now, she only felt annoyed. She thought Luna would certainly not cry so loudly. When she came home from work, Luna would sweetly call her mom, I would prepare her bath, and then cook a meal she loved, but it seemed she had lost all of that. Get out. Go find whoever you want. Scarlett forcefully pushed Julian away and hurried off. This was the first time she had spoken so harshly to her cherished Julian. It was truly a novelty. Julian sat on the ground in a daze. While Leo was so startled he forgot to cry. Life passed steadily. Mom and Dad learned that Sage and I were married, and they were so happy they couldn't sleep for days. Luna knew Sage was going to be her mom, and she quickly covered her head with her hat. I quickly asked, doesn't Luna like it? Sage's heart skipped a beat, and she was so nervous she forgot to wash the dishes. No, Luna's happy. Luna revealed her messy hair, flattened by the hat. Her little face was flushed, and she toddled over to hug Sage tightly. Luna loves Mom the most. Sage smiled with relief. Back at the hospital, Nurse pulled me aside to gossip. Julian in bed 3, got beaten up. I was surprised. Why? He hooked up with a patient in the next room, and their spouse found out. Last night, the spouse brought a whole group of their family members, dragged Julian out, and almost stripped him naked. I nodded. That certainly sounded like something Julian would do. Oh, and guess what? Nurse's eyes sparkled. She's good friends with Dr. Scarlett, right? Well, when Julian was getting beaten, Scarlett just stood there in the crowd, watching the show. That didn't sound like Scarlett's usual style. Normally, she'd coddle Julian, as if she feared he'd melt in her mouth, or drop from her hands. You don't know why, do you? Nurse continued. The person who fought Julian's son last time was the dean's son. They couldn't openly pick a fight with a patient, so naturally, he'd go after someone closely associated with the patient. Scarlett was used to cleaning up Julian and Leo's messes, but this time, it backfired. A few days later, Scarlett was fired. She had stubbornly come here on her own, without planning any retreat for herself. Coupled with her low spirits, she made a major error during a surgery, resulting in a patient who wasn't seriously and not making it off the operating table. Now, she truly was abandoned. Before left, she begged to see me. In just 2 short months, she seemed to have aged 10 years, with streaks of white hair appearing on her head. Ethan, I really regret it. She had lost her former spirited demeanor, her eyes filled with weariness. Before, I took advantage of your love, and just acted out endlessly. Thinking about it now, Ethan was just a wreck. Ethan didn't say a word, his hand unconsciously stroking Sage's belly. Her eyes immediately welled up. Pregnant? She asked. A little over a month, he replied. Scarlett closed her eyes as tears slowly streamed down her face. Sage had been anxiously waiting nearby, noticing a slight breeze pick up. Ethan quickly draped his trench coat over Sage. It's getting cold. You need to be careful, he told her. Ever since she got pregnant, Sage had been incredibly anxious, wishing she could cling to him. Even more, when she heard that Luna had been sick, and he had gone to the hospital alone. The tall woman cried her eyes out. How scared you must have been, she sobbed. Scarlett stood in the cold wind for a long time, until her legs felt numb. A sharp pain, piercing her heart, reminded her that nothing could go back to how it was. The boy who was once her whole world now belonged to someone else.